Hello everyone, welcome back to our Maya 2020 tutorial series on doing some animations. In our last animation we did a walk cycle that looked pretty good. We can export this, copy and paste this if we want to expand it, or even if we want to get into the timeline editor, we can create this as a timeline loop and use it for further animation. For this next lesson, we're going to do is going to be a run cycle. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. You can always bring it back to 0 and create a completely new saved file and have it completely cleared just to have the run cycle on that one same file. That will work. You can always export that animation and bring it back in, have that brought in the timeline editor. It's a little bit more of an advanced topic, which we don't deal with in this particular class, but that is completely doable. Also, if you're bringing it into Unity, you can bring in multiple files with different animations, so walk cycle, run cycle, and pull each clip off of each file and then have them brought in for the animation controller. So that's completely doable as well. Usually what I like to do, and there's one last option, is creating an animation layer, which makes it where you can turn off and on different layer portions, but it's a much more advanced topic that we're not going to be dealing with at this point. But what we are going to do, which is usually the way I prefer to go about doing my animations, especially when it comes to sending them over to game development, is I keep it all along one timeline, and then once I finish this walk cycle, I then just expand it. So I say, okay, let's go to frame 60. And on frame 40, I'll say that from frame 30 to frame 40 is going to be a transition point between what it's leaving off at and what it's going to be for the next one. So I would have to make a little cheat sheet saying that from frame 40 to 60 or frame 70, depends on how long the run animation is going to be a run cycle, and then from frame 1 to 30 is my walk cycle. So then that way when it comes to pulling these apart, I'll know which one goes to which time frame goes to which animation sequence, so that I can cut it up accurately and just know what to do rather than having to go and review my animation and see where the cuts are each time I'm making those cuts. So it'll just give yourself an easier time down the road. Okay, so from frame 40, let's go ahead and start there. And I'm going to go ahead and close it off on the front here. So that way frame 30 isn't available for me. There we go. And I do need to get at these controls around the feet. They're being blocked because of this ground layer I created. Okay. Now, do I want to take off from right here, or do I want to go back to the beginning? Really, I want to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to put my translate Z at 0. And then, let's see here, I want to make this into a run pose, which this isn't too far out from what I actually want, but I need to make him into a run position. So give him a little more squat, leaning forward. I want to get his foot out and accentuated like he's running, so this one's going to be up here. This one's going to be, see how it twisted like that? This is a knee lock issue. What happened here is the knee control, this one right here, crossed over where the pull vector is. So this one actually needs to be pushed out a little bit further and down. That way it doesn't cross over that pull vector line. Let's also zero this out for now. Let's take this pull vector and bring it down even more. Okay, and I'm going to put this at, let's go 10. So what I'm doing is I'm posing him for this all-out sprint type run. So I want to have him hunched over like this. His arm is going to be cranked up now because he's kind of in an all-out sprint now. turn off the lights and shadows for now as well. And I'm going to get his, that actually looks pretty good. I don't need to mess with that too much more. Okay, let's get his head up. Actually, if he's out, he hasn't landed yet, so he's going to be like that. That's good. Let's see about this one here. Does this need to be animated? Looks like I'm getting a little bit of deformation going on in the back. I'll have to go ahead and fix the weight on that. It's not that big of a deal, but I am noticing it. So I want to go ahead and make sure I fix it. Let's see here. I might want to also have it to where his shoulders are swinging a little bit too. So I'm just going to take these shoulder ones and alternate those ones going backward and forward, so it makes it, I think he's got a shoulder swing to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I want to lower him some more. Maybe lower him a little bit more. He does look like he's pretty high up in the air. Maybe I'll bring all these guys down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so same principles that we did for our walk cycle. So again, I'm going to go to frame 50 here. And I basically need to switch the places here. So this guy now needs to be in this position. So I'm going to take the Z-axis, copy this one, and I'll put it over here on this one. That shouldn't have happened. There we go. I'm not sure why at first the control moved and then it didn't move the rig. All right, so let's go ahead and put in, what was it? Is it -7? -5. Okay. There we go. And let's check the height here. This one is at 1.0171. We'll just go ahead and add that here. Okay, so they're in the same exact spot, so that's good. Now we need to put this guy over here, and also let's make sure this is in the same spot as this one. Let's first bring it down here and key this, and we'll come back up here. I will move it to this position. So I'm going to move it up and back. I could copy and paste them, but with these pole vector points, I don't think that's quite as crucial that they're 100% accurate. Okay. This one, we got this bag that's in the way here, so we can't just put it in the same spot as the other one. That's probably good. Let's see how it crosses over though, make sure it doesn't go through. It does. So right here I'm going to have it to where the hand rotates a little bit to miss that holster there. Okay, that's good. Now I need this side over here to do the same. So let's go ahead and from right here, we're going to copy this one's Z location and we'll just paste it on this one. There we go. And let's also take the height. Oops. I did not. I copied it, but I didn't move it to right here. Oh, there's my dog in the background. Sorry, dog was making me lose my train of thought. All right, so we need to copy the location to right there. There we go. Now it's where it needs to be at. Then we just need to lower it back down. So let's take this one here, copy that one. And then that's 10. So let's go ahead and put this one as 10 as well. And then we also have to fix where the pole vector is at. So we come over here, pole vector is all the way out there. Let's animate it coming out right here. Okay. Oops. Okay, there we go. After we have this animation done, I'm going to go back and fix this back part here that's kind of wigging out a bit. Looks like I just need some of the weights smoothed out. Usually when you do animations like this, it shows you where all the weights are broken and or maybe just not smoothed out enough and causing some issues. All right, so let's also deal with the hand on this side. Getting some this pole vector causing some issues. Let's go back over here and then now we can rotate this guy here. We can take that pole vector, move it back out there. There we go, that's looking a little better. Be out further. Okay, so that's going pretty good. We do need to fix some of the more on the feet though before we're going further. So right here at 45, this needs to go down flat. Right there. We'll pull them a little closer together for a moment. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now when they come down flat, this is supposed to be the high point, so when this foot comes down, if you're going to go up higher, this is where your foot hits the ground and it pushes you up for a second. Maybe And then it goes right back down, right? So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and deal with some of the belly movement here now. So when he comes up to 45, let's have it to where his belly goes in a little bit. And then it comes back out at 50. So we'll just copy and paste that keyframe right there. How about the back? Have it to where he comes back. And then he goes back out forward. So like when he goes up straight, his back comes back. There we go. Let's deal with the shoulders now a little bit. So the shoulders start out back here. I'm actually going to bump this back to 39 for a second, just because I'm pretty sure that we didn't have any animation on these guys on the previous animation. So let's key this one right here, and then we'll zero it out right here. That way the previous walk cycle won't have this stuff pushed back on it, but on frame 40 where it starts, it'll have this positioning for the shoulders. So then we can go ahead and close this back out to 40. Okay, so let's go to 50 where he switches, pushes this shoulder forward, and then this one comes back. That looks good. Let's deal with the head now. So I think that at the high point, his head will knock sideways a little bit. Nope. Go 50 and it'll knock this way. Is that about right? Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So now we gotta do the other side. So we just gotta mirror what we just did over to the other side. That way we get the complete walk cycle. I'm actually gonna take this ground plane and put it on its own layer. That way I can just put on reference, not accidentally click on it again. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to basically have to duplicate this on up to frame 60, right? So from 40, we want this to be back in the same position on frame 60, right? So I'll just take 40 and I'll just copy it over to 60. Same thing with this one, this one, this one, this one. They all want to be in the same starting spot. When they get to 60, as they did when they started. Okay, so let's see what we have here. There's going to be some backfilling we're going to have to do to fix it, but let's try it out first. So there's our first walk cycle, and then it slides through. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need that middle frame right here, but on the opposite side, right? So it comes down right here. Instead, the opposite foot's down, so it's this one. So this one gets zeroed out. That one's on the ground. This one let's see here, 1.5. Okay, so is that what this is at? 1.5. Okay. Okay, just making sure that looked okay. I think that it does. So what we're missing here is the bob from this thing. So the height that we're at here, we want it to be over here. Now remember, it was one keyframe after the middle, so we had 55, so it actually needs to be over here. So we'll keyframe that one. Got a little bit of pop going on there. Okay, something's going on with the shoulders. Let's figure out what that is. I think it's the head, actually. This one needs to be right here. And the last one needs to be on frame 60. So I ended up with a little bit of popping the shoulders, so let's see what's going on with that. Could be from this guy. Yeah, let's copy that one over to here as well. Okay, that's why. So it looks like it doesn't come back. So once it gets over here, we need this one to be back over here. So that never got pasted. So repaste that one. Let's see if that fixes it. But it's the same thing on this side, so we got a problem over here as well. Okay, so we need to copy this one over here. Let's see now. There we go. Now it's got a nice run going on. Now we just need to do the actual forward movement. Okay. So same lesson as last time. I'm basically going to turn on wire on shaded and also turn my lights and shadow. Put my finger down so I can see where I'm supposed to be going. So I'm going to basically taking, let's do the heel right here. So I'm touching right here on the screen so I can see where it's supposed to be. And then go forward to full extension. And let's move that forward. So the heel's right over there. Let's see how that looks. Running actually turns out to be a little bit easier to do with this portion than the walk cycle, because the walk cycle your feet are planted a little bit longer than on the run cycle. So you can see slipping going on the ground. But with running, it's much more fluid since you're going at this continuous linear speed. So you don't have to worry so much about having issues with going into the graph editor and adjusting some of the slip. So we can go ahead and go forward now. So let's say that I'm now going to look at this heel, and I'm going to say, okay, on frame 60, bring the heel to right there. No, that's too far, it looks like. Actually, it looks pretty decent. Let's bring the ground plane up to where it's on the ground. And let's turn wire and shade off, turn the controls off, and let's just see what we have. Oh. That's an okay run cycle. And with some of the stuff, if you want him to run faster, you can always have these things go faster, or if you want to make it to where he's catching more air and looking like he's more animated, you can always accentuate these things. But he's kind of an overweight, tubby construction worker. I don't see him running much faster than this. I think that anything more than this would actually look kind of overplayed. So I think this is pretty good. Let's see, there's one thing I want to check out, his arm here, that make sure that, yeah, I guess so, that works okay. I was thinking this arm here might need to come down a little more, but you kind of, when you're running, you keep your arms up above your waist, so that makes sense actually. Okay, so I like that. Last thing I want to do before I leave this lesson is I want to correct some of this weird geometry here with the paint weight tool. So let's go ahead and just turn this off reference for a moment, and let's go to our paint skin weights. So that's underneath skeleton and I'm sorry, not skeleton, skin, and the paint skin weights tool. I already have it over here because I used it recently, but I'll just go ahead and open it over here. I'll also need to turn on joints so I can pick out which joints causing the issues. But let's see if it's this one. Yep, that's definitely the one. Let's try to smooth some of this down. So I'm just going to hold down Shift, try to bring some balance back in here. So I'm just holding down Shift and left mouse button dragging. That's allowing me to just smooth the weights in the area that I'm selecting. Looks like I need to go down a joint as well. Let's select the influence down here, and let's also smooth some of this out. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of pulling inside here, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch over to my component editor. I want to make sure that I'm not getting influence from like the elbow and stuff like that. It'll be easier for me to identify if I'm not dealing with the paint weight area. So let's just select this one vertex here and these three. And then I'll hold down Shift and press period. This will let me grow my selection so I can just select the troubled areas in here. Okay, and that'll make it to where I don't end up inside here too much. And let's also grab those two. And let's go to Windows, General Editors, and Component Editor. Now this really comes from my paint weights lessons. So if you guys are into paint weights, this might be something new for you. I recommend going back and watching those ones as well, which gives you a much more in-depth understanding of what we're doing. But these are all the vertexes that are represented in this area, and here's all the joints that are associated with it. So some stuff like left ankle, that shouldn't have any real influence, but it's not really the problem, I don't think. I think that would probably be more like this right arm here is probably causing the issues. Definitely if there's a, so left arm, right arm, those might be part of the problem. Definitely the right forearm if it's in here. Forearm right, that could be the issue right there. Let's just zero out the right forearm. Okay, so that fixed some of it. Let's see if we can go over here and just zero out the left arm as well. Okay, and let's also take out the right arm. Okay, that fixed a little bit of it. Let's see if the clavicles are causing any issues. We'll just do. I'm a little apprehensive just because they're near the clavicles, but let's just go ahead and remove them for now and see if that. Yeah, that helps quite a bit. But it helps a little bit too much is the problem. Okay. Going back into the paint weights tool, let's unisolate. Okay, so let's remove the weight from these areas. Take a moment just to save really quick. Sometimes you can end up having it to where you do something funny and Maya doesn't like it and it crashes on you. I don't want that to happen. So right now I'm trying to remove some of this weight here. No. Trying to give it back now. This is kind of becoming a game of pushing back where influence is supposed to be given. So this could end up taking a little bit longer than I was hoping. We're already past 30 minutes. But we fixed most of it. I do need to fix this one section here though, because this is, let's go to add, and I'll just add some to it. See if that will bring it back in line. Yeah, there we go. So I just got this one stubborn vertex here. All right, smoothing this part here out. That's taking care of most of it. It's just this one vertex here that's being a problem child. Okay, let's go back to vertex mode. Let's grab this one here. And we'll go back to the component editor. All right, so right arm, spine, that stuff's fine. Let's see if we zero out the clavicle, if that fixes it. There we go. Kind of. That one's fine. All right, so now I could probably go back and smooth this back out. So this is a little bit of a game. You have to play with the weights. Sometimes it's kind of a bear to deal with. But now I can smooth this out, it looks like. figuring out how to give the influence just to where it doesn't want to pop back out. There we go. All right, that fixed it. Okay. I know that was pretty much a long lesson on how to do this, but it's something you sometimes have to deal with when it comes to dealing with these kinds of animations. You might have the weights painted, and then you realize that there's some stuff that didn't get painted right, and you'll have to keep going back and tweaking the weight so that it works right. Okay, so let's go ahead and save one last time. The more you fix these weights, the better it is down the line, and eventually you end up having to give a bulletproof rig. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. In the next couple lessons, we're going to do something that's not motion related. In the next lessons, we're going to do some idle cycles and some alerted cycles, and we'll do possibly take damage. We'll see how much time we have. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lessons.